Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motorcast. This is your host, Dave. I got a line of special guest, Top Fuel NHRA Dragster driver, Justin Ashley. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. So how's the season been going for you?
It's been going good. We raced this past weekend in Charlotte, and we made our Top Fuel Dragster debut, and we qualified number 12 and went to the semifinals. And I think that we had a successful weekend. We got a lot of laps on the car, a lot of data to work with, and we're getting ready to race at Las Vegas now in a few weeks.
I know they had a little bit of rain at North Carolina, and they had to move to Monday, right?
Yeah, they did. We were able to get Friday and Saturday in, and then it ended up raining quite a bit on Sunday. So they called it relatively early in the day, and we finished the race on Monday.
So now, after the next event, you gonna do any more events, or you're done after that?
Yeah, well, after Las Vegas, we're going to go to Pomona. So, the purpose behind that was we wanted to make sure that, we go into next year giving ourselves, the right opportunity to be successful at every race that we race at. So next year our plan is to race 12 races, and in order to do that successfully, we thought it would be good to run 3 at the end of this year. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're in Charlotte, we're going to run Las Vegas, and then we'll close out at Pomona.
So what were your times for the weekend?
So we started off qualifying. We went a 383 at, I believe, 323 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken. We also went a 386 to close out qualifying. So we ended up qualifying the number 12 spot with 383. And then the first 2 rounds of eliminations on Monday, we went 377. The first 377 we ran actually was only at 298 miles an hour because the blower belt ended up coming off probably around, let's say, 800 feet or so. Then the second elimination round, we went another 377 at 323. So that's really just a credit to my guys, to my crew chief, Aaron Brooks, and Jason Bunker and Dustin Davis and the entire team. They did such a good job all weekend giving me a fast and consistent race car, and now we have a lot of good data to work off of, and we'll continue to grind and work hard and continue to try and improve.
Awesome. So let me rewind the clock back on you and ask you, how did you get into drag racing?
So my father raced for many years. Growing up, I spent a lot of time at the racetrack. He raced pro modified most of my childhood, and then he raced funny car for a few years. And, it was just racing was something that I always loved, especially NHRA drag racing. It was something I was always very passionate about. And believe it or not, I really didn't plan on racing necessarily until I got to my later years of college, and I knew I was going to be graduating. And I thought to myself, what avenues in life do I want to pursue? And every day, my daily job is I'm in real estate. I'm in the fix and flip real estate business, but I always had a passion for racing, and I wanted to make sure that it was a part of my life. Just growing up around the sport, it always allowed me to kind of have racing in my heart. It has a special place in my heart. So I knew that this is something that I wanted to be heavily involved with moving forward.
So you had that racing bug and the itch, and then you finally pursued it.
Exactly. I kind of always had that racing bug. It's like a bug. Once you get it, you can't get it out.
So what year did you start drag racing?
I started drag racing. I started drag racing when I'm 24 now. When I was about 11 years old, I had my first junior dragster. I spent some time with that, but then I really didn't pick up racing until 2016. I spent time with Barry Brown, who's become a very good friend of mine. Really like family. I raced his top dragster for a while. That was my first real, relatively fast race car. It went about 200 miles an hour, let's say, in 6 seconds. And then in 2017 and 2018, I raced top alcohol dragster. And then this year I decided to make the move with the help of a lot of really great people to Top Fuel.
So how long did you drive a junior dragster for?
I would say I just drove it sporadically over the course of probably when I was, let's say, between 11 and 13.
But how'd you do in junior dragster?
Oh, I did good. I really didn't race in any serious races. I did one charity event, and then I did a lot of test laps to bring it to the tracks that my dad used to race at. So then the day after the event, we used to make a lot of test passes with it. But to be completely honest with you, I was more of a stick and ball sport kind of kid growing up. I did a lot of football, baseball, basketball. I actually played football through college, and then that was really my primary focus. And then when I finished up that, I knew that I wanted to get into drag racing.
So let me ask you, Justin, how was the experience like for you the first time going on a drag race track, as a junior dragster?
You said, what was that experience like?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. I mean, I was so young at the time, 11 years old. So, when you put on a fire suit and a helmet, you kind of feel like Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really like it. That's why I would really encourage anybody who's interested in racing, who has a passion for it. I think junior drag racing is such a good sport, and it's so healthy. I think it keeps kids, no pun intended, but on the right track. Keeps them on the right track in life. And I would encourage anybody who's interested in the sport to start a junior dragster at such a young age. It's a great place to start, and it's really a great family sport as well. There's a lot of families involved.
Yeah, it's really grown too.
Yeah, it has grown a lot. I notice more and more from when I was racing to now. I mean, I feel like the growth has been just tremendous. A lot of teams, a lot of young individuals, a lot of families are involved in the sport, which is great. It's great for them, and it's great for the NHRA.
Yeah, sometimes I'll interview, older people. They say they wish they had junior dragsters when they were kids.
Oh, definitely. I can definitely see that for sure.
Yeah. So now, how was the experience driving a Top Fuel dragster for the first time?
So it was, my experience driving a Top Fuel dragster was really great. I first got my license in 2017 with the help of a lot of really great people like Antron Brown and Brian Karate and Mark Oswald and Don Schumacher. They allowed me to get my license in Antron Brown's car, and that was in 2017. And at the time, I only made a handful of laps in an alcohol dragster, so it was quite a learning experience for me. It took a while for me to kind of catch up and for my mind to catch up to what's going around, just because everything moves quicker and everything happens so much faster. But this time around, this year, when I stepped into the car, we made, let's say, anywhere between 10 to 15 test laps, and each lap I learned something new, and each lap I got a little bit better, and I'm continuing to try and focus on how I can improve and help my team win. But until you sit in that seat, until you strap to that 11,000 horsepower bomb, really, there's nothing like it. Just the feeling of all 5 Gs hitting you hard, and going over 300 miles an hour in just under 4 seconds. It's really something that you really gotta experience. It's pretty unbelievable.
Well, what track did you license on?
I licensed in Norwalk,
Ohio, right?
Yes. Yep.
So now, who signed off for your license?
Actually, the people that signed off on my license were Antron Brown, Clay Milliken, and Del Worsham. I've known actually all 3 of those drivers since I'm a kid. So to have them sign off on my license and make me, watch me make runs, those were 3 of the guys that I looked up to for a long time. So that was something that meant a lot to me.
Now, have you gotten any advice from any of these other drivers?
I have. All these drivers, to be completely honest with you, have been so nice and so just so considerate. And I've spoken to a bunch of them, and they've all been kind to giving me advice and telling me how to approach different things and the best way to things. This past weekend, I spent some time talking to Steve Torrance. I think that he was he's such a nice guy, and just a pleasure to be able to race against. And Clay Milligan has been one to always be there for me and give me advice. And Antron Brown really has spent a lot of time working with me and been a big help in getting me to where I am today.
Now, are there any dragsters that you're looking forward to lining up with that you haven't raced?
Really everybody. I try not to be completely honest with you. I think that all racers approach things differently. I kind of approach things probably out of the norm. I don't really focus at all on who's in the other lane, whether it's during qualifying or eliminations. I have a tremendous amount of respect for anybody that's out here doing this, anybody that's racing, especially in the top fuel category, because the competition is so good. But I try and just stay focused on my lane, and try and do the best job that I can to help my team win. And with that being said, though, I'm certainly look forward to getting to line up next to guys like Antron Brown and somebody like Clay Milligan.
Now, with the Top Alcohol Dragster, did you have any success with that?
I did. I raced Top Alcohol Dragster for 2 full seasons, and I was fortunate to race with a really great team. I spent a lot of time with Randy Meyer Racing. We won 2 national events. The first national event that I raced in, I won, which was in Gainesville of 2017. And then I also won another event. We won the Brainerd event that same year. And then in 2018, I won a Virginia Motorsports Park regional event. So we had 2 national event wins and 1 regional event win in a 2-year period of time. And, that was something that I think was, just a blast for me. There is no doubt in my mind that without racing A Fuel, I wouldn't, have the opportunity to race top fuel. And I think that racing in that category, is the best way to prepare for somebody to sit and race in a top fuel car.
So you ran a 95% Nitro with the...
Yeah, we would run on the maximum you would be allowed to run is 95% Nitro.
So what's the quickest pass you made with the A Fuel?
The quickest pass we made in A Fuel was a 5:14 at 2:82.
Awesome.
So that was, I made a lot of laps in that car. That was a really good experience for me.
So currently now with the Top Fuel Dragster, who are all your crew members?
Well, our crew chief is Aaron Brooks. I've known Aaron for a long time, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Aaron as a person and as a crew chief. I think he does an amazing job, and we really have a great working relationship together. Our car chief and assistant crew chief is Jason Bunker. He's just, I think he's so bright and so intelligent, and every time I speak with him, I think I learn a little bit more, and he's kind of like my right-hand man. I love the job that he's done in helping to put this program together, and also our co-owner, Dusty Davis, really is in charge of all the day-to-day operations, and I would not even be close to the position I am right now without Dustin. He's done an amazing job putting together a great group of guys. I can go on and on listing the names. They're just great and great at what they do, and I feel fortunate to be a part of the team.
Now, who are the sponsors for your dragster?
Our primary sponsor is Strutmasters. Chip Lofton, who is the president of Strutmasters, has helped me tremendously, and he's the primary sponsor on our team. They're based in Roxborough, North Carolina, and they make air to non-air suspension conversion kits. So they focus on making struts, and they're the experts in that particular niche. And Lucas Oil has also been on board to help us. They've been a tremendous help. They give us, I think, what are the best products in the business, as well as Guard Lab, who is a company located in New York, who makes high-performance mouth guards. And I think they're actually very cool. What they do is they help align your jaw, help align your back to promote better breathing, and help the flow of every time I get into a race car. And as well as Remax IQ, they've also stepped up to help us. And I'm really grateful for all our sponsors. They've been great, and they've helped us get to this position. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Now, does your family back you, in your drag racing?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Does your family back you in your drag racing?
Yeah, my family, my father and my mother have been. I can't say enough. I've always had an amazing relationship, and I feel grateful for that with both my father and my mother. But my father, having raced for so many years, has been such an influence on my life on and off the racetrack. I can't say enough good things about my father, and he's been really a mentor and somebody who's provided a lot of guidance for me. I can always talk with him, and he can relate when I describe things to him about what might be happening in the car, and things that I can improve on, and things that I can do better. He's been there to provide me with guidance, and he's really provided me with a lot of guidance on the marketing side of things too. He's been very proactive in helping me to get out there and helping to become associated with different sponsors. So, I can't say enough good things about his involvement with us and our program.
So would you say your dad's probably like one of your biggest heroes as far as drag racing?
Absolutely, yeah. My father is definitely, my biggest role model, my biggest hero. When I watched him, every time I used to watch him make a run down the track when I was a kid, I used to feel like I was making that run with him. And it's funny now to see kind of the roles reversed as I'm driving and he's watching. And he's definitely, he's my go-to guy. That's my best friend. That's my man. And I feel fortunate to have the kind of relationship I have with him.
Now, besides your dad, when you first got into drag racing, did you have any other heroes out there that you were like, man, I wish I was like them one of these days?
Yeah, there were a bunch of guys that I always grew to respect and appreciate them. My whole thing was I used to watch guys not only drive, but I used to appreciate how they represented themselves, their teams, and their sponsors off the racetrack as well. So one guy that I always thought, when I was younger, did a really good job of that was Tony Schumacher. I thought, he did a great job of driving. I thought he did the same thing every time he was in the car. He had a robotic mentality, and he had a lot of successes. But I also thought, he did a great job representing his team and his sponsors off the racetrack as well. So he was one of those guys that I look up to. And Antron Brown, as I got older, was somebody that I definitely look up to. I think he is the ultimate competitor, an absolutely fantastic driver. I think he's just the best out here at what he does. And I think that there's no better representative of a team and their sponsors than Antron. And more important than that, he's just an amazing guy and somebody that I definitely looked up to and somebody that I do look up to still today.
Yeah, Tony needs to get himself a sponsor so he can get out there and race with you.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. It feels strange not to have Tony out there. I'm sure he'll be back out there soon.
All right, now, what kind of advice would you give, someone listening to the interview, whether it be a kid or adult? What kind of advice would you give them if they're thinking about jumping in a top fuel dragster?
The advice I would give somebody is to, if this is what you want to do, if this is a career that you want to pursue, don't sit back and wait for it to happen. I think that you've got to go out and make it happen. Figure out a way to take it. And I think the first step to doing that is, you're only good as the people you're surrounded with. So you have to surround yourself with a good team of people who are supportive and who are going to help you do whatever it takes to get there. If you're younger, I'd recommend starting in junior dragsters. I think that that's a great way to learn and a great way to be around the sport. And then if maybe you're a little bit older, start in in maybe a sportsman class, and then continually continue to grow and make more and more laps in your car, and just make sure you focus on attention to detail and try and improve every time you sit in a race car. And one day, if you work hard enough at it, you'll be able to get where you want to get to.
All right. Now, when you're on the track, Justin, for a race day, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions?
It's funny. When I was growing up, I used to be very superstitious. Ironically, when my father used to race, when I wasn't. But then when I started racing, I don't have very many superstitions, to be honest with you. I do try and stay, I stay focused. I just try and stay focused on the task at hand. So there's no particular routines or rituals. I will say though that I am committed, in between races to making sure that I stay in shape physically and mentally. I do a lot of obviously going to the gym and working out and staying in shape, but I do a lot of visualization before I go. I think that's something that suited me well. I like to spend time both inside and outside of the car, kind of envisioning myself making laps down the track over and over and over again, and going through the in-car procedures in my head. So for me, when I sit in the car and it's time to actually do that, although I haven't made 10 or 20 laps for the day, I actually feel like I have already. So that's something that I think kind of makes it a little bit easier for me.
Now, after all the years spent as a drag racer now from junior dragster on, what still keeps you passionate about it?
What keeps me passionate about drag racing is the people. I absolutely love the people involved. I think that it's a family atmosphere, and I've grown to love and respect a lot of people involved in NHRA drag racing. I've noticed that, people are willing to go above and beyond to help each other, and there's a mutual respect for one another. And I think that that's a wonderful thing, and it's not something that you see in every sport. So that's something that keeps me passionate and engaged. And, something that's important is, the truth is I like to win, period. I don't care if it's ping pong or if it's, a relay race or if it's drag racing. I love to win, and that's something that constantly keeps me motivated.
Yeah, that's what a lot of drag racers I interview at, I always discuss that drag racing is just one big family. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger all the time.
Exactly.
Now, what goes into preparation for you, like get your mind set to prepare for a weekend of drag racing?
So I always make sure that, like I had alluded to earlier before, I spend some time visualizing, making laps in the car in my head before I actually sit in the car. But other than that, I try and do my best job of clearing my head. I look at it like a job for me. I have to go in there and do the best I can to give my team an opportunity to win. And in order to do that, I need to really have a clear mind. So, I try and kind of, focus on compartmentalizing and taking whatever's going on in my day job, working in real estate, and kind of put that to the side for the weekend and focus strictly on racing. And then when the racing weekend's over, I flip the switch and go back to focusing on real estate. So I think compartmentalization is probably the thing that I'm most focused on, and something that's been a tremendous help for me.
All right, now I know you've only done one event with the Top Fuel car. So with the ACA dragster, what were some of your favorite tracks to run on?
There's a few specific tracks that I've really grown to love. Charlotte is one of them. I think that Bruton Smith does a great job at all his facilities of just making the track an enjoyable place for racers and for fans. I think Z-Max Dragway is probably one of the most, if not the most beautiful facilities that we have, and that we get a chance to race on. So I think Charlotte is a big one. Another place that has kind of a special meaning to me is Gainesville. I think there's a lot of history at Gainesville, and I grew up at that racetrack, and I was fortunate to have my first ever win at that racetrack. And I love being in Florida and spending time there. So that's another racetrack that I absolutely love. And I'm hoping one day to be able to get a chance to race at Bristol. I haven't got a chance to race there yet, but that's another beautiful facility and a track that I spent a lot of time at growing up. So that's another place that has a special place in my heart.
Now, you've been to Route 66 in Illinois?
I have. time there as well. That's another great track.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
I get all my equipment from Impact. Eric Coop and the people at Impact have been very generous in coming on board and helping me and setting me up with some great equipment. I have a brand new Impact fire suit and brand new everything from Impact. They've really been great in supporting me, and I'm fortunate to work with Eric and Impact and have that relationship.
All right, now throughout your whole drag racing career, have you had any accidents at all?
No, by the grace of God, thankfully, I haven't had any accidents.
Now, knock on wood, you will never have any.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, God willing.
Now, when you're on a track before a race, do you do a prayer?
I do. I'm a very, I don't know if religious is the right word, but I'm very spiritual. I have a strong, faith and belief in God. So I always like to say a prayer. I have a racer's prayer that's mounted to the side of my car that I look at and say every time before I go down the racetrack. And I also, if the guys from RFC, Racers for Christ, are there, I also like to say a quick prayer with their volunteers and their chaplains there in the staging lanes.
Yeah, very nice. So now, what would you consider to be some of the milestones of your drag racing career so far, Justin?
I think my biggest milestone so far was my first win. Being able to come out in my first national event and win the race in Top Alcohol Dragster was special. I can't even really put into words. It's something that's difficult and it's something that's not easy to do. And I was just driving. I had a very good team and some divine intervention that came into play that day. So that was probably my biggest milestone. And then this past weekend, making my top fuel was pretty amazing. It's something that I always wanted to do, and it was definitely a dream come true for me. And then to win my first round was amazing. I was able to go up against Mike Salinas, somebody that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I think that he's just an unbelievable guy and an unbelievable racer with a great program. So to be able to defeat him in round one and collect my first round win in Top Fuel was definitely another big milestone for me.
Awesome. Now, we're reaching the fun questions. You ready for a few fun questions now?
Yes, sure.
Okay, outside of drag racing, you have any other hobbies?
I do. I enjoy real estate, but that's my day job. I love sports. Football, baseball, basketball. That's what I love to do. I also like to spend time on the water. I spend a lot of time going jet skiing with my girlfriend. Anything that we can do to get out on the water, I enjoy. But stick and ball sports for me, football, baseball, basketball, I absolutely love to spend time doing that.
So, have you ever gone fishing?
I have gone fishing. Unfortunately, I think I'm a little too impatient for it. But, I know a lot of people who spend a lot of time fishing, so it's not really for me. But I think maybe over the course of time, it's something I might learn to enjoy because I love the water so much.
Yeah, you're just supposed to get out there and relax and enjoy the outdoors.
That's what it's about. You're right. That's exactly what it's about.
Even if you don't catch anything, you're just enjoying the outdoors, peace and quiet.
Exactly. You're right about that. Exactly.
Yeah. Me and my wife love going fishing. Now, have you won any trophies or plaques, any good stuff like that throughout your racing career?
I'm sorry, say that again. Any trophies?
Any trophies or plaques, any kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, the trophies that I've won have been the 3 wins that we've been blessed to be able to win. We won in Gainesville in 2017 and Brainerd in 2017, and then a regional event in Virginia in 2018. So those are my 3 Wallies, 2 national event wins and 1 regional event win.
All right, so now if you could do time traveling and go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career?
That's actually a great question. I don't know that I would necessarily do anything differently throughout my drag racing career, because when I look back, I think it all led me to where I am today. And where I am today, I really couldn't be happier. I feel very blessed to be in this position. I'm 24 years old, and I have an opportunity to race a top fuel dragster, and that's something that I'll never take for granted. It's a dream come true for me, and I think that all the things that I've gone through in my drag racing career have led me to this point, and I feel like I am racing with just an outstanding team. I have an outstanding coach. My first goal is to be able to collect my first win, and my first professional win. And I'm going to take one race at a time, one round at a time, and just see if we can put ourselves in a position to be able to do that. But just like anyone else, I have goals and dreams of winning Indy. My father won Indy in funny car, so for me to be able to win Indy, I think would be pretty amazing feat. And obviously to win a world championship would just would be amazing. But these guys, this is the best competition in the world, and these drivers and these teams are the best in the world, and they're the best at what they do. So, with that being said, I feel fortunate just to be involved.
Now, throughout your drag racing career, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you had on the track?
That's a great question. I'm going to have to take a minute and think about it here. One embarrassing, I think maybe I've had too many embarrassing moments to name just one. I think that might be the problem. Let's see, some embarrassing moments. Last week, I had a little bit of an embarrassing moment. I don't know if you would call it, you probably had to be there, but when you're, part of my job as a driver is to pack the parachute to mix the fuel. So when I'm mixing the fuel in the pits, I have an air hose that helps circulate, the fuel, the nitromethane, and the alcohol together as it mixes. And I turned on the air hose a little too hard, and all the nitro, which is very expensive and very smelly, went all over the place in the pits.
Oh, man.
And all over me. So it's not a story I was planning on sharing. So it's a story I was kind of just planning on being like, all right, let's hope nobody saw that. But I figured, you know what? What the heck? I might as well let you know now. That was pretty embarrassing, and that was just a few days ago.
Wow.
So there you go.
Well, you'll learn from that mistake now.
Exactly.
All right, now this next fun question should be easy for you. What's your favorite food you like to eat?
Oh, that's an easy question. Pizza. I love pizza. I think that, people say you get sick of the same food if you had it every meal every day. I don't know about pizza. I think I could have pizza all the time. That's my go-to.
What do you like on your pizza?
I'm a cheese guy. I like regular cheese. If I'm going to go different, I'll do buffalo chicken or Sicilian slice.
All right, what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Mellow Yellow.
It's funny, I just had a can of Mellow Yellow earlier today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm a Mellow Yellow guy, and I also like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Mountain Dew is good, too. Now, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that's a great question. My favorite movie. I would say my favorite movie of all time would probably be Rocky, the first Rocky.
Well, I've never had a driver say Rocky was their favorite movie. You're the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, see, I'm different. I like Rocky was something that, movie that I love.
All right, what's your favorite music to listen to?
I like all different kinds of music. I don't know that if I have a favorite. I listen to everything. I know it sounds funny, but I listen to everything from rap to country to oldies. A little bit of everything.
When you're growing up as a kid, did you have a favorite cartoon to watch?
Yeah, my favorite cartoon was actually Rocket Power. I don't know if you know that show.
No.
It was on Nickelodeon. It was called Rocket Power. That was my favorite cartoon.
Okay. Now, if you were not a drag racer, what do you think you'd be doing with yourself?
Well, I think that if I was if I was blessed enough to have the talent, I would love to play football. But I think coaching football is something that I would be doing. I played football through my whole career. Even in college, I played at a Division III school. So I think being a football coach is something that I would definitely want to do.
You said you were playing football in college earlier in the interview, right?
I did, yeah.
Now, when you were playing college football, did you have dreams of becoming an NFL player?
No, I always kind of knew at the time that, I would play in college and then move on to another career. So it wasn't something that I was necessarily focused on, not at the level that I was. But actually, playing football actually helped me a lot in the drag racing world and in the business world too. Taught me a lot of really great life lessons about discipline and focus, and just about competitive nature.
So when you were a kid back in grade school, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was real young, I wanted to be an astronaut, and then as I got older, I wanted to be a football player.
And then it became a drag racer.
Yeah, right.
All right, so if people are listening to the interview and they want to see your schedule, where you're going to be at, for the rest of this year and stuff, and going on the next season, what's the best way for people to find the schedule for the Dragster?
Sure. So the best way for people to learn more about myself, our program, and our schedule is to visit justinashley.com. It's pretty simple. Again, justinashley.com. You can just go to the website. It has a lot of really great information on there. I'd also encourage people to take a look at all my social media pages. You can follow me at the Justin Ashley, which is on Instagram and Twitter, and I also have a Justin Ashley Athlete page on Facebook. So using the website and using different social media, I think is the best way to kind of learn more information. And something pretty cool that we've done is we've launched our own multi-episode online web series called Fix Flip Fuel, which follows my life on and off the racetrack, flipping homes in the state of New York and learning how to drive a 300-mile-per-hour top-fuel dragster. And it kind of takes you behind the scenes, and it'll be a few different episodes. And we just aired the first one on Saturday of last weekend. We've got a lot of really positive feedback. So I also have a YouTube channel, Justin Ashley Racing, that everyone can check out if they're interested.
Well, that sounds pretty neat. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Now, as far as kids are concerned, how important do you think it is for kids to come out and watch drag racing?
Well, I think that drag racing is good. I'd encourage kids to come out and watch drag racing in any sport, to be honest with you, because I think it helps kids stay on the right track. It's a healthy way to get involved in good things, and I think drag racing is just another one of those sports that's great. It's great for families and all kids to be involved with, and I think the great thing about it is that
in this day and age, it's nice to get kids out of the house to do anything because they want to sit there and play video games for hours and hours.
Exactly, it's good to get out there.
Now, were you a video game kid when you were younger?
I wasn't. I was always one of those kids that was more of an outdoors kid. I did spend some time, playing video games like most other kids, and I think video games, I have nothing against it. I think that they're good and they're healthy, but I think that balance is really what it's all about. I think that you have to have a good balance of everything, spending time doing other things and being involved in other activities and playing video games as well. It's all about everything in moderation, if you will. So
do you play any video games currently?
I don't. Occasionally I'll pick up the Xbox, but it's very rare. If I do play the Xbox, I'll play Madden or NBA 2K, but it's very, very rare. I don't really have too much time to be able to do that.
Awesome. Well, Justin, you have any final words, thank yous, any kind of good stuff like that before we close?
No, I wanted to take the time to thank you. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. I appreciate you taking the time to talk. And, if there's ever anything I can do, you have my number. Feel free to reach out.
You're welcome, and we'll do another one in the future.
All right, that sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And I wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And you have a great night, Justin. Thanks again for being on the air.
You got it. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.